rong cho mi sốt là mà nó của rong xa hẹn rong xa cho mi cho nó cho ô cho cứ tin đi trang yêu trọng phong yêu sốt là rong xa tao mà nó của tao cho lúc còn mi hồ luôn trong sinh phò nó tao chỉ cho trong sau rồi đó bây giờ muốn tao nu cái bây bù cái con chú luôn cho cái nu cái gì mua cái chẳng đủ của ha ta sĩ cũng chính hắn cha sa ta mi số linh số tu nhớ hồ luôn hông nổ mà nổ mi như bù ý dạng này của ta nu nổ giờ trong trang bờ cái bây giờ mong mình cả. So good evening, distinguished guests, friends, family, and colleagues. I am so pleased to be here again in St. Paul, Minnesota. I want to say there have been many, many difficult days over the last 50 years, along with some good days for our community. But I am certain that each and every one of you here this evening, you agree with me that today is a great day to be Hmong American. I also want to extend my heartfelt thanks to the Hmong Committee of 100, the Gala Planning Committee, for inviting me to join you in this historical convening to reflect on our shared wartime experiences, displacement, seeking refuge, and the rebuilding of fractured lives in new lands. This is not a story of just survival. It is a story of courage, transformation, and the enduring power of community. When my family arrived here in St. Paul in 1980, 45 years ago, we carry little more than hope. Like many of you, we experienced poverty, language barriers, and uncertainty. Yet here we are today, leaders, educators, entrepreneurs, athletes, advocates, proof that resilience can turn hardship into triumph. When we compare our present realities to when our people first arrived in this country, there is indeed so much to celebrate. To understand our progress, we must understand and remember how we got here. During the Vietnam War, we saw all of the films already. During the Vietnam War, the Hmong became entangled in a war that history calls the Secret War of Laos. When the war ended, those who fought to advance American military and political interests in the region did not find peace. Instead, we faced fear, persecution, and the crushing weight of betrayal. Our sacrifice, once celebrated, became the reason we were targeted. As remnants of a war that Americans called the Vietnam War, the people in Asia called the American War, and still others call the Second Indochina War, we are collateral damage in a war that might have erased our story and all the difficulties that we endured had our elders not taken the courageous risks that they did. The act of fleeing one's home, often really under life-threatening conditions, in search of safety in unfamiliar lands, is a painful but yet common thread among people who are displaced all over the globe. More often than not, the circumstances that compel such journeys are beyond their control. Whether displaced by war, famine, natural disaster, or oppression, or drawn by the promise of economic prosperity and freedom. Sometimes people take months, years, or entire lifetimes to make sense of their circumstances. Our families fled through the jungles, rivers, carrying only their children in their memories. Many never made it. Those who did found ourselves in refugee camps. The refugee camps were no promised land. They were overcrowded, under-resourced, and really just meant for temporary shelter. As refugees, we waited, sometimes for years, For the chance to resettle, we faced disease, hunger, and trauma. Most lived day to day with very little structured activities, while we waited for the mercy of nation states across the globe to offer us refuge. Seeds of resilience were planted. Children went to school. Educated refugees helped to serve as interpreters, food distributors, medical assistants. Many women sewed beautiful story cloths and clothes. Blacksmiths make knives to be sold to Hmong who had resettled in Western countries. Some even snuck out of the refugee camps to serve as day laborers at nearby Thai farms. In essence, however, life continued in its rhythm. Children were born, couples married and divorced, men passed time playing soccer. Musicians played music, and some sang their hearts out. Families dressed in their finest to celebrate the new year. The sick and the elderly passed away. Funeral ceremonies were conducted, and families became torn apart because of refugee resettlement in third countries. But we adapted, we endured, and we held on to hope. That hope carried us across oceans to new beginnings. In the mid-1970s, Hmong families began arriving in the United States and in other countries such as France and its overseas department, French Guiana, Canada, Australia, and even Argentina. In these host nations, the refugees were intentionally distributed all over the country in order to ease the burden on one particular community. Resettlement was certainly not easy, as many people have already said. We arrived in America with limited English, limited education, deep scars. Many of us who settled in urban America were funneled into the American underclass. We lived among some of the most disenfranchised Americans who, though equally poor, made it very clear that we were at the very bottom of US society. Yet our parents worked tirelessly. They found work in factories, schools, government agencies, farms, restaurants, instilling in us the belief that hard work and education can open doors to a better life. Like immigrants and refugees before us, they practiced chain migration. They recruited family and friends from different locations to resettle in an area where they can rebuild community. They built community organizations, launched businesses, and fought for resources. They preserved our language and traditions while embracing new opportunities. They gave us the foundation to rise. During the first 2 decades of Hmong experiences in the United States, most Hmong, we lived on the margin of US society. The historic treatment of Asian Americans as the yellow peril had transitioned into the image of the model minority. As people of Asian descent, we were physically Asian, but as a group that is considered to be the bottom of the socioeconomic ladder, people looked at us, they looked down on us. We really were viewed as people who don't belong in America. However, as we have seen the last 30 years, we have actually actively shaped our destiny. Let's consider a few transformations that illustrate how far we have come. In terms of education, in 1990, only 3% of Hmong had a college degree. Today, over 26% hold a bachelor's or higher. We have professors, doctors, engineers, and leaders shaping our future. Home ownership from only 10% in 1990 to 56% today, a powerful step toward generational wealth. Entrepreneurship, as we have seen, from small ethnic businesses to award-winning restaurants and huge real estate projects, we are determined to succeed and shape the economic landscape. Political engagement, as we have heard, from our very first elected official in 1991, to many, many others across the country, including, as we have seen tonight, our historical election of Representative Gao Liher as this city's next mayor. She is a strategic leader who just happens to be a Hmong American woman. How great is that? And in terms of sports and other areas, Suni Lee, Megan Khan, and others have shown the world that Hmong Americans too can be champions. And last but not least, in terms of identity, I think about this a lot. Despite the fact that we were dispersed all over the country, all over the world, we have preserved our heritage while creating new traditions. Hmong language and culture are now taught at many, many K-12 American schools and universities. So these are only a few examples of the progress we've made. Taking time to identify all of the different progress will take more than the 15 minutes that I have. So indeed, when I think about our journey, it teaches me and teaches all the people in this room that resilience is not passive, it is active. It is the courage to dream beyond survival. It is the determination to turn barriers to bridges. It is the belief that our story matters. So I ask you, what will the next 50 years look like? Will we continue to lead the education, business, and public service? Will we ensure that our children, our Hmong children, know their heritage while they embrace innovation? Will we rise together to build a future where every Hmong child sees unlimited possibilities? In closing, I would say that the Hmong spirit remains unbroken. The Hmong story is a powerful testament, a reminder that even in the face of unimaginable hardship, the human spirit can endure, adapt, and thrive. From war-torn villages to refugee camps to college campuses, from rice fields to state legislatures, we have shown the world what resilience looks like. When we left Laos, some predicted we would not survive in Western society. Some even predicted extinction. Contrary to such perspectives, we have turned trauma into triumph. For the first time in our people's history, we are preserving what is best of our cultural heritage in changing traditions that no longer suit us. Though some challenges remain, we have built bridges between generations and cultures across the United States and beyond. The Hmong story, indeed, is not just a story about the past. It is a living testament to what is possible when courage meets opportunity. If the last 50 years have taught us anything, it is that our strength comes from the roots we share and the unity that we uphold. Every milestone we've reached is a reflection of the sacrifices of the people who came before us. So now it is our turn. We are taking our turn to step up and to carry the torch forward, honoring the legacy by uniting to build a future that is so bold that future generations will dream even bigger. Thank you so much for being here tonight. 我张丹丹。